Yeah, I don't think the contracts equal who they are in any sport. I'm not just gonna say the NBA.
Nah, forget that, bro. I'm about to be a part of whatever prayer groups Kirk Cousins be in, because them prayers be working for you. And then they should ask for a $600 million 10-year deal.
One player in the league that deserves that deal, and that's Patrick Mahomes. He wins. He puts fans in the stands. He puts trophies in the cases. Happy 4th of July, everyone. We all had the day off, so why not record a podcast? My name is Jonathan Sawyer. With me and my brothers TreyDay, Grandpa J, and Mike A. Fellas, happy 4th of July. Hope you guys are grilling out as we talk sports here. But let's just dive right into it. NBA and NHL free agency was unreal this past week. I mean, it just kind of blew up immediately. It's like Christmas Day almost, where like you're trying to wait for free agency. You're like Christmas Day, free agency, and it's like who's going where? And it's like a surprise to you. Like you open the presents, like the Mavs get Klay Thompson, the Sixers get Paul George, and it's like a secret present. So what'd you guys think about free agency as we unloaded this week?
I mean, again, another year where it's just the Wild West. I mean, they call it free agent frenzy when free agency opens up the first day, and it really like showed again that that's exactly what it is. It's like stars going different places, especially, I mean, there's, all this speculation going into it. Oh, this is the favorite team to get this guy. And like we had talked last week during the draft about how Orlando was the favorite to get Klay Thompson. I don't know about you guys. I hadn't heard anything about him going to Dallas, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Klay's going to Dallas. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a big pickup for them.
The last 24 to 48 hours, there was a lot of rumors about Dallas. Like,
was there? Okay.
By Shams and then Woj, and then it was like, it started picking up even more. But I agree with you. I mean, it's a frenzy every single year where who's going where?
Right, like, exactly.
You got to kind of like reset your rosters. It sucks. I miss the days where the rosters were the same for at least like 4 to 5 years, and you got to watch. And like you got to finally get to know the guys. Now you got to relearn all the players. The main players are the main player, but then like these random guys that come off the bench, it's like, fuck, stop moving, stay there. TreyDay, what were your thoughts? The trade
it's not always
coming out.
It's not always about just the movement. Sometimes I look to see who didn't make moves, and then we say, well, where the hell are you at? So you, Milwaukee Bucks, I'm talking to you. Where the fuck are you at? I haven't seen a damn move from the Milwaukee Bucks, and they were supposed to be a contender. They're going to waste the end of Giannis' career. I mean, I seen the whole clip about Dame saying, or Doc reporting that Dame was overweight and that was, or not in shape because he was saving himself, and that was their biggest thing. Now, I guess they're banking on that. But Middleton, he's not the same at this point. You're going to keep wasting Giannis' prime, and I'm going to say this now. He will be one of the next stars to move. He got a couple years. He's on the clock because they're right now wasting him, and I don't see how that team, when you watch Boston still is going to bring their people back. You watch New York get better. We watch Philly get better. I don't see how the Bucks can keep going like that. Also, John, I'm going to call your heat. Pat Riley, are you taking a nap, sir? Are you
are you surprised? Are you surprised at this point? I mean, literally the last 6 years, what free agency splash has he made? Like that's where I look at. For me, I would have been more shocked if I would have saw a player come to the Heat. I'd be like, damn, what the hell? Like I'd be more shocked to see that at this point because he just doesn't make big splash moves. I think LeBron was in Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. I don't know any other ones. Maybe Jimmy Butler was a trade, right, from the Sixers, right? Or no, was that a free agency?
It was a free agent move. Because the Sixers, because the Sixers picked Tobias Harris over him. They took that. They gave Tobias.
Okay.
So that was it's not just that though. They're not even doing to me enough around the guys they got. Yeah. I don't see any movement. Jimmy's getting older, so I'm looking at where's your movement at? What are y'all doing? I don't even hear like rumbling. Same thing with the Bucks. Now they're spelling out right now, but the Lakers keep striking out. Now that is a story, but I will say they at least seem to be trying to make an attempt at getting better. Now why nobody wants to go there? That's maybe a topic for another day. But, yeah, at least I hear rumblings. I don't hear anything from those teams. And that's why, like I said, I think Giannis is on the clock. I mean, I see Jamie shaking his head. I don't know if he's agreeing. Do you think Giannis is on the clock? Or if you think, okay, you do think Giannis is on the clock?
No doubt. And look, at least I think what happened is you won your first one, and I don't think there was that sense of urgency that kicked in for them. There was like, hey, there's a team who's already better than us. Like, I thought Boston's roster was better the year after right away when Milwaukee won. So like you said, where's the urgency? Fair enough. You go out and get Dame, but the experiment seems to have failed, or at least for now it looks that way. And should you blow it up? Absolutely. Or else now you're what? Putting $250 million in Dame's pocket and then hoping for the best and that Giannis can stay healthy. But I'm more shocked about what happened right here in Tampa, where the decision was, let's let Victor Hedman retire Lightning and not Steven Stamkos. And then he goes and he signs for the same amount that was offered to Hedman. It was just such a weird day to not say, you know what? And look, the Lightning do this, right? As I done. LeClavier, Martin St. Louis, none of them finished their career here in Tampa. Luckily, Hedman's going to get a chance to do that. But why not have both of them do it together? Set a new precedence. These guys have meant everything to your franchise with the magical run that's happened over the last 6 years. And it's kind of fizzled out here in the last 2 years. But it was magic. And it was magic because those two guys were pretty much the catalyst to that, with obviously Stamkos being a team captain over these past couple of years. He's your team captain. Of course, he's the guy and he's the glue. If you're going to let somebody go, it should have been Hedman. It's not, and I don't think Hedman's a great player, but I think there's guys out there you could have picked up that could possibly be not as good as Victor, but they can come in there and play that role. It's hard to lose your captain and be like, here you go, Victor. Be Stamkos for everybody. I just thought it was a weird move. I don't know why they made it.
I disagree on that point, just because a great defenseman of Victor Hedman, who is a two-way player, who can skate the puck up the ice and get himself an opportunity to score, is very rare in the NHL right now. There's only a few guys that you can really say, hey, but I get what you're saying. And I said the same thing. I said it earlier this week, that how do you let your captain of 15 years just not give him the respect? And he was playing great hockey the last 2 years. He was healthy. He was playing great hockey. He was over, I think, 95 points, 96 points around there. And he was just at a level where it was just like, okay, this is the standard that we were expecting. Why not let him retire the captain, give him the freaking deal? He deserved it at the end of the day. So I was with you 100%. I didn't understand it. And then I said that to Mike. As soon as the deal came in for Hedman, I was like, oh, so they just basically said, who do we want more?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Then,
who are we giving 8 years?
But the one person I said that he's gone was when they traded for Jake Gensel from Carolina. When I knew that and they gave him the 7-year deal, I said Stamkos is gone, because that was replacement on the power play. That was a replacement on that line, that first line with Kucherov. That was Stamkos, and he's younger. He's Gensel, I think, is 28. He's younger. He gives a little bit more pop to the lineup. A lot more gritty players.
Well, that's left to be seen.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, if Nashville goes and wins a freaking Stanley Cup this year, we're going to be kicking ourselves. Stamkos is going to lead the league in points. You're going to watch it right now. He's going to lead in points. You're going to have 140 points and whatnot.
No, but shout out. Speaking of which, shout out to the other side of that coin. The Nashville Predators all of a sudden going, you know what? Fuck it, we're going for it. Like Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, Brady Shea. Like they went out and got in one day 3 of like the top 10 free agents on the market just off the bat. So shout out to them. I mean they overpaid Brady Shea, to be honest, because they gave him, I believe, 7 years.
They're not paying anyone, to be honest with you. They're not paying.
Other than them, no, they're really not. Soros, that's the only other guy they're paying like any amount of big money. So well, I mean Nashville's gonna be interesting.
Free agency is a carousel, and it's and it's funny how that works nowadays. Like when we were growing up, you saw a lot of players playing for. I mean, we saw a lot of people moving more, but the anticipation for free agency is just unreal nowadays. It's just like you got so many reporters with Shams and Woj and Elliot Friedman for NHL and Adam Schefter for NFL. And it's like how did we get here, right? And the biggest thing is that green stuff, that green money stuff. Do you think the contracts are equaling who the player are, or do you think it's just the way the NBA they have to be that way? TreyDay?
I mean, I don't think the contracts equal who they are in any sport. I'm not just gonna say the NBA. When we talk about football, every time whoever's the next quarterback, that's who gets paid. Doesn't matter if they're good. They say, okay, this year Dak Prescott's up, now Dak Prescott gets paid. Next year somebody else comes up, he gets paid. Kirk Cousins, he keeps getting paid. So that is
he got fucking paid, bro. Like Fuck. I'm about to start working on my basketball game and just be the 12th man on the bench. Like the 12th man on the NBA bench gets paid like $6 million. I'm cool with that. I'll travel with the team.
Forget that, bro. I'm about to be a part of of whatever prayer groups Kirk Cousins be in, because them prayers be working for him.
And he's a star on Netflix on that quarterback's document in the first season.
But talking about ridiculous, there was some rumors saying how Love's agent should obviously wait to see what they do with Dak on an extension, and then they should ask for a $600 million 10-year deal. I'm like, for what? Beating Dallas in the playoffs?
First of all, there's only one. There's only one player in the league that deserves that deal, and I don't even think he deserves that deal, and that's Patrick Mahomes. And I was just talking about it with my barber today, and I was just telling him, like, we were talking about Tua, and Tua wants all this money, but the problem with the Dolphins is that guys like Trevor Lawrence, guys like Dak, guys like, no offense, Mike, Daniel Jones got $40+ million.
Right,
you got to pay Tua, and he was saying, well, is he deserving of it? I'm like, no. The only person that's deserving of his contract is Patrick Mahomes. He wins. He has, 3 Super Bowls now, 4 appearances in his, 6-year career? Like, come on, guys. Like, it's simple. Like, he wins. He puts fans in the stands. He puts trophies in the cases. That's just it. I mean, when I'm looking at
jump by jump low, Kelsey should be paid twice of what every other tight end is being paid.
Yeah,
because he's basically a wide receiver 1.
No, he's basically a receiver.
Well, the problem with the NFL is there's a cap space, and eventually, the quarterbacks are going to get paid half of the cap, and then the rest of the players. Here you go. Here's a little seasoning on you. Here you go.
I mean, there's always been rumors about doing a separate quarterback cap. Like, that's been a rumor thing.
That should be.
People have asked. It probably should be, to be honest, because at the end of the day, the quarterbacks are going to keep getting paid in the NFL. But I mean, it's every sport. Why not? I don't think anybody doesn't deserve to not do these contracts, because I mean, shit, these are fucking billion-dollar franchises. It's rumored already the Celtics are probably going to sell for a minimum of $5 billion. So I guess as much as we could sit here and I could say Jaylen Brown don't dribble right and shit like that, okay, but fuck it, he dribbling. The dude up there, ain't he? He got $5 billion to blow, and he can make that type of money. So yeah, you damn right. I guess why not Tatum and Brown should be paid like that? Why not pay a fucking Aaron Judge what he's getting? Because they'll be all right. The owners will be all right.
Yeah.
So here's a stat for you on the whole Aaron Judge I'm glad you brought that up. One stat, me and Mike went and saw him play for his 60, trying to break the Roger Maris record. And when I looked at a stat during that weekend, and that weekend that we were there and watching him play, they sold or made about $300 million or something like that. Last 2 weeks, they made $300 million just off Judge and ticket sales and merchandise and all the stuff. Like, made $300 million, right? So when I hear about something, I'm like, take that last 2 weeks and pay that motherfucker his contract.
Exactly.
And you guys are charging out the ass for tickets and out the ass for shit in the stadium. So when a player says, hey, give me my money that I deserve, yeah, you're going to make that. It's a drop in the bucket for what they're actually gonna get. But I got an over-under for you guys, okay? So over-under. Or I guess a lock for you, and then we'll get to a lock of the week for Jamie. Which sport is going to be the first sport with $100 million a year player? We can go around the horn. TreyDay?
NBA.
Mike?
NBA.
Jamie?
Patrick, Michael Jordan, Mahomes.
And I'm gonna go wild card and say the Major League Baseball. Because they don't have a salary cap, and I don't think it'll, unless they do that type of thing that they're doing, and star player separate salary cap or quarterback cap, then it's got to be Major League Baseball. We just saw a guy get $700 million.
No, I mean they definitely got a shot baseball
on a very creatively structured contract, though.
Very creative. Very smart.
Taking in mind, NBA is
here's why I think it's Mahomes, though. I think when they win 3 in a row, they're gonna wrap him up for the rest of his life and give him $100 million signing bonus, and that's guaranteed on the spot. And that's where I think you're gonna see it happen. Not as a yearly salary, but they're gonna say, "Look, $100 million guaranteed right now. Sign this."
The NBA's already headed there with their
Correct.
and I'm not saying that either one are wrong in that, but remember they already kind of said with the new CBA, there's a chance Luka probably is the first one to get paid, and his first year may be a 75 per year contract. So it's just literally by default their max is moving so much. Where I think Dame is already hitting 60, so their max is going to just naturally put somebody into that boat.
They also do the best job of making, I think, the most money and then having the smallest pool of players to play as well. Players to pay.
Very true.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
okay.
And I mean, realistically, now I see why Clay went. He's just like, "Hey, Luka, we best friends now, right? Like, buy my
Get
house, like,
Get me paid.
Yo, come on.
Um,
I get you paid, you buy me a boat. Like, is that how it works?
exactly. Can we? I think we can all agree it's absolutely not going to be the NHL. I mean,
No.
they're
No,
right now they're at 14 and a half. I think for
I think it's
McDavid.
gonna be
They got to get.
to be WNBA.
Oh, that'd be wild. Caitlin Clark.
Yo,
Clark.
could you imagine?
No, I
She
bet you
makes
people
more
be
than
like,
they make than the
if you
entire
put it out in the barber
In
shop,
the league.
people won't even like flinch. They'll be like, yeah, it might happen. Like that's how crazy her buying power is.
Well, as I locked it down for you guys, let's get over to Grandpa Jay's locks of the week. So, Grandpa Jay, take it away with your locks of the week or lock.
Ghouls and goblins and everybody in between. It is time for your locks of the week, and you guys know what it is. It's the big boy clash going over in Europe, in Germany right now, where the host country is going to be hosting España, and Spain looks fantastic right now. They have some young players that fantastico. They have some young players that are just killing it right now, and this new generation looks like they are ready. Spain dominated Euros a couple tournaments back where they won back-to-back, and sandwich in between that was a World Cup win. So we know that this team knows how to get the job done, but that was their said golden generation. Now it looks like they're rebuilding, and these young boys don't give two shits where people's like, well, it's not your time yet. We're talking young, like 16 and 19-year-old kids running the show for España. Now, is it hard to beat the host country? Absolutely. I don't think Germany can keep up with the firepower of these young Spaniards. So I'm taking Spain to win on Friday. That's going to be the first quarterfinal match of the Euro 2024 championships. Put it in the bag right now. That's your lock of the week. Take Spain straight up over Germany. And if you want a scoreline, Spain 3, Germany 1.
Loyalty in sports is non-existent anymore. And there's one driving factor: because of money. At the end of the day, these contracts are exuberant. They are getting so big and so ridiculous sometimes that a lot of people are saying, why isn't this guy staying? Why isn't he willing to build up the franchise? Well, the franchise isn't willing to build with him because they don't see the value behind it a lot of the times. That's why in the NBA, you see 2 to 3 year deals with a player option after the second year or after every single year, because these guys are ready to bounce and go to the next championship level team as soon as they get an opportunity to. The NHL is starting to turn in that same mentality. Every single year now, and it's been the most I've seen in a long time, where you see a lot of guys just moving and carouseling around. The Tampa Bay Lightning made a huge mistake this week in not re-signing their captain of 16 years, who has been with them through the dog days of their franchise, rebuilding and getting them back to the mountaintop. When you look at the NFL is the same way. 2 to 3 year deals, and then that's it. Unless you're a quarterback, you're not going to get that top tier contract. That is just the name of the game in sports. So if you have this dream that you're going to have a guy like Derek Jeter, who played for my Yankees for 20 years and retire a Yankee, you better hope the franchise believes the same way. If you look for a guy like the Mamba, who played for the Lakers for 20 years, that's not going to happen. Those days are gone. So loyalty is non-existent in sports anymore. Well, as we talk about contracts in the NBA and the NHL and the exuberant amount and who will get the $100 million, who is the worst contract that you have ever seen in sports?
Trey, go ahead. I know who you're about to say. I mean, he's your guy.
No,
right
honestly, because I didn't even take the ever. I went from the current mode. Because the worst and current can be different. So I had a few different jot downs, but see, which angle do I want to take here? Okay, so actually, I'm gonna take 2 quick angles. I'm gonna make this really quick. There's one particular one NFL I had to call out. Taysom fucking Hill. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, Taysom? The guy, okay, so remember, they've restructured this man's contract. The man plays tight end, occasionally comes in for goal line. They owe him $9 million on the cap this year. He has a $9 million cap hit this year, a $17 million cap hit next year, taking up 6% of the Saints' salary, and another $9 million after that. And then there's also some type of dead cap where he still may also cost another $3 million in 2027. So what are we doing, Saints? For a guy that plays 6 plays a game, you lost your fucking mind. But since we're talking about current, let's go to Phoenix. Bradley Beal, I'm going to call you out again. That contract is fucking awful. Like, I can't believe that he is still sitting at this contract. $50 million this year, $53 million next year. Oh, breaking news. This just in. He has accepted his $57 million play option for 2 years from now because there is no fucking way anybody's going to pay him $57. So I'm calling it now. Bradley Beal will be opting into that $57 million. We don't need to go to Psalms. We don't need Woj. That is the worst.
We got the Trey bomb here.
Sports right now.
Trey bomb.
Trey bomb. Trey bomb. That's the Trey bomb alert. Trey bomb alert. Yes, I agree. Bradley Beal, his agent was like slapping when the guy signed him. Fuck, goddamn bitch.
But also, I would gladly
ask you questions.
But shout out to his agent. I don't have his agent's name in front of me, but shout out to him. Y'all thought Jerry Maguire knew what he was doing. That's fucking Jerry Maguire, whoever Bradley Beal's agent is.
Mm-hmm.
So
No doubt.
I got the worst contract in sports history.
Yes.
And we just passed him. It is Bobby Bonilla. How do you
Yes.
not pick that?
Bonilla
How do you
Day.
not pick that? He is getting and congratulations to his agent because that motherfucker getting paid until 2035. In 1990 season when he signed his contract, we're in 60 games. He hit 160. 160. That is just terrible, and he never was that great of a player. So he will get paid $1.9 million for the rest of until 2035, and he's been getting that contract since 1999, and that's insane, and that's still another few years. And Shohei's contract is supposed to start pretty much a couple years after that 10-year gap. So imagine that another guy will be getting paid $60 million. That is the worst contract in sports because you each year have to shell out a contract on July 1st. We just passed it 3 days ago to Bobby Bonilla. So congratulations, New York Mets.
But would you expect anything less from the New York Mets?
Absolutely not.
I mean, I can't say shit about the Mets right now. They kicked the shit out of the Yankees the last.
They've been kicking the shit out of everybody in the
and everyone in the last month. So
yeah, no, they
won't be
actually
for long.
It won't be for long. But I mean, I can't talk shit right now until the Yankees beat them this year. So
give it till August or September. The Mets will Met, and
the Mets will Met. Just like I said, the Clips will clip. The Mets will Met. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. I have an idea who yours is, but go ahead.
I actually went a little off the board. It is a current one. I went a little off the board here. And that would be L.A. Angel Anthony Rendon.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad contract.
Yep.
That's a terrible one.
$38.5 million every year for the next 3 years. The total of the contract was 7 years, $245 million. And in that time frame thus far, he has played a total of 219 games. Wow. And he has a full no-trade clause. So that's right, folks. It is a full no-trade clause, 7 years, $245 million for someone that actively doesn't care about baseball.
Yeah, motherfucker.
And they can't.
And they can't get out from underneath.
You are just trapped.
And they can't send him into the minors. It's not like they can do that. So it's just like,
and even if they did, they still have to pay him that contract.
He's gonna be like, "Hey, coach, I'm running late. Just stay home. You're good."
Yeah. No, legitimately, like we were saying at the beginning of the season, I remember we were like, Angels, just tell him to stay home. You have to pay him anyway. He's a more beneficial player for your organization not playing.
Shit, you
than he is
playing. Angels, if you need someone not to play for your team for $35 million, I look good in the baseball jersey, as you can see. So come on, I can do that. I can sport the hat and everything. I can sit at home. Just let me know. Let me know. Hit me up. I'll have my people talk to your people, and we'll get it done here. But Grandpa Jay,
I'm so good at handing out water. It's not even funny.
Who is your worst contract?
My worst contract goes to the person who can dunk like no other, but he don't got game after that when it comes to carrying his team. Zach LaVine's 5-year, $215 million contract gets paid 43 this season, 46 next season, 49 the season after. Okay, 78 guaranteed off the top. It's like, here you go. Here's $78. Because the best you've done for us since you put on a freaking Bulls uniform is get swept in the first round of the playoffs. So is that what $200 million is worth? You're going to get us to the playoffs and you can't even win a game. And by the way, you can't even finish a season in the last 2 years. Because what do you think all that explosiveness is going to do to somebody's knee? It's going to freaking blow their knee out. The guy is fantastic to watch when he's healthy. I think he's one of the hardest workers in the league because he's definitely made himself a better player, found himself a jump shot like he had to. And he showed all the signs of being a great player. He's kind of teasing you. He's on these all-star teams. Hey, Zach LaVine's on the rise. We knew they never built right around him. Chicago's been trying to find that winning formula for the past, I don't know, almost 25 years now since Jordan and Pippen left. And they can't seem to find it. And Zach LaVine's $215 million only moved them backwards because there was no forwards once that pen went to paper. And I just bet how Zach LaVine is going to make $50 million soon, even though I like the guy. Okay, I've always been a LaVine fan. That's ridiculous that for probably an average shooting guard, you're worth $50 million in the NBA today.
Yeah. Didn't he get traded to the Hawks that I saw?
Yeah,
or no?
I was going to ask, are the Bulls on the hook for any of that deal anymore? Or is
he on the Hawks? No, I'm wondering, is he on the Hawks?
I believe so.
No.
No? Okay, because
no. Nobody wants him. They've been trying to.
No, they don't want that contract.
Nobody wants it.
They
Remember,
proposed 15 trades in the last 2 weeks. It's basically what's going on.
Please get him.
Yo, did you get that phone call? Hello? God damn it, stop calling me, bro. I told you we don't want LaVine. every answer in the phone.
Just take him.
You know who he is? And I'm going to shout him out. That's our guy. He's Brandon in fantasy football. He's our guy, B. Smith in fantasy football. Brandon will just keep sending you trades. Like, Brandon, I'm not doing it. And Brandon will just send you 6 more trades. Bro, that trade sucks. Stop doing this.
I'm not trading him.
I would not be sending you Patrick Mahomes for fucking Dak Prescott. It's not happening, bro. Like, stop.
Now, if I want to go with one of my team's worst contract, the worst contract of my teams was A-Rod. I think it was 180 million, or no, 280 million guaranteed, 100%, like everything.
You know what's funny about that though? Now because the contracts are went up so much, the A-Rod deal doesn't even sound. You said that, I'm like,
it doesn't sound bad.
Because everybody's so like at the time it was like, oh my god,
it was a huge deal. It was the biggest deal in sports.
No, it was, but it's like so funny now because we're like mum bags. You're like,
That's a 6 man on an NBA bench. That's a 6 man on an NBA bench right now.
Yeah, so like the contract doesn't sound crazy.
And every team in Major League Baseball has one of those now, pretty much. Other than maybe
I
like
remember
the A's.
coming home and hearing that on Sports Center and being like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you're making that." Now I'm like, "Oh yeah, like you said, 6 man on the team, 200 mil, whatever."
Wow, they got him for a discount.
Well, yeah, it's not like a discount now.
Yeah,
I mean, the Browns are paying Deshaun Watson like $200 million to try not to give him a shot.
To try.
I'm surprised none of us went there with that contract. I'm surprised we left Russ off the table and we left the massage specialist off the table.
The massage specialist.
I thought the Russ contract was amazing as a Steelers fan. It worked out very wonderful.
Man.
Have
you seen the word into that contract where they're like the Steelers having to take on 1.2 of that leaves Denver only having to pay $37.7 million.
And that is perfectly fine. I think it's an amazing deal.
The Steelers got out scot-free with it. They know Justin Fields is the future, so they're like, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
go right ahead.
And they're still not going to have to pay. I mean, they're going to have to pay him relative to quarterbacks, but he's not going to get paid as much as Mahomes, obviously.
Nope.
So they might get a very talented quarterback for what will end up being a discount.
That's the thing is that you can't really put these star-studded players in a category with the other ones. Like it's like yes, you are separated. Congratulations. It's like Aaron Judge, Shohei. They're in a different ballpark. It's Juan Soto. They're over here, and the rest of the league's here. So when you say, "Oh, you paid Aaron Judge this," no. This guy just hit 32 home runs in about 2.5 months, and he has 89 RBIs right now. So what do you have? 10. Okay, you relaxed, everybody.
Easy.
Yeah.
But the weirdest thing to me with the Russ contract that I never understood is he already agreed to terms. Why are you rushing to extend him? Like, why are you throwing $50 million guaranteed? He already agreed to it. Him and his agent are like, oh, well, guess what? If you don't finalize these terms here, I'm not gonna. He signed the freaking deal. Why are you trying to butter him up even more after proving nothing to you in a Denver uniform? I just thought that to be probably the dumbest. If we had to think about dumbest move made by a GM and owner, that might be the dumbest one in recent sports history.
No, actually, I skip you there. That was bad, but remember, the Browns went out and paid Deshaun Watson while he was sitting there with all the massage stuff pending.
Yep.
And then they knew he was going to get suspended. They gave him fully guaranteed. Remember, they guaranteed all this shit. Weren't in a bidding war. Weren't even in a bidding war saying, we're going to give you an extension. Oh, don't forget, we are going to manipulate the salary cap so you only miss $1 million of this.
And not to mention, they gave the Texans all their first round picks for the next 4 years. Like the first round pick, they were like 4 years.
But the Browns had done the right thing defensively leading up to that terrible freaking deal where we saw the defense carry them up until they went to Houston and got shellacked. So they were smart, at least on one side of the ball, saying, hey, our defense at least can get us to the promised line. This guy just needs to be average for us to at least get to the second week of the playoffs and see what we can do with him. And we know that with that defense. Of course, they didn't show up against Houston. We don't know why yet still.
Yeah, and then we had to go get a man off the couch.
That good or they're that bad when the bright lights are on. But tell me Denver hasn't regressed more than any franchise.
I think they regressed when they got rid of Elway. When the Walmart people bought the franchise, bought the team, and I think they got it their own GM and got rid of Elway. I think that's where you started seeing the digress. But you also saw it too because they pumped so much money and so much into just in that development versus win a Super Bowl in that Super Bowl run with Manning. And now you're seeing the effects a few years later. So
yeah, they sold out for that Super Bowl.
So they had no plan after that.
So they literally. But Denver's never had a plan. I mean, if you look at them historically in our life, the only time they've ever so you had an Elway era, then they basically went to shit, and then you went and got Peyton Manning, so you went to get it. Basically, they've had 2 of the top 5 or 7 quarterbacks in the history of football. With the exception of that, every year they didn't have one of those guys, they look like shit. Like they've never really had a plan. I mean, the plan was fucking Jay Cutler, for God's sake. If Jay Cutler's your fucking plan, then we have an issue.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say Jay Cutler's contract 7 years, 7 years, $126 million with Chicago.
Oh yeah,
mind you, after he lost in an NFC Championship game, but he went 51-51 after that.
I'm sorry.
Mike, are you waving your Tim Tebow finger right now? Are you waving that?
He walked off.
He walked off in the NFC Championship game. He didn't lose. In the second quarter. He made himself unavailable.
He said, I'm hurt. And he just sat there. So let me ask you guys. So when you talk about worst contracts, if they win a championship in some sorts, let's say it's a 10-year deal, they win it in year 1, but don't win it again. Do you guys consider that still a bad? And like say the team is just garbage, right? And the player's just garbage. He wins it in year 1, but garbage the rest of it. Do you still consider that a bad contract because he got a ring? He got a ring.
So let me reword that. Will you consider the Matthew Stafford deal a bust?
I was literally going to say Stafford.
Rams never compete for another Super Bowl in the next 3 years.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah. Do you feel that's a bust on a bad contract for the franchise?
Nope. If you won, how can you not? You played your hand and you won. Now you just have to deal with the consequences of not being able to keep guys on your roster.
If you win it, then I don't think it's a bad contract because you actually did win it. If you do what the Clippers did and you don't win, you don't make even to a championship, then you fucked up. See, the Rams can live with the fact
first round, bro. They can't even get out the first round.
Right. You're right. They literally can't even get out the first round. So, yeah, because I guarantee if you told Steve Ballmer, okay, at least Kawhi and Paul George got us a ring, Steve Ballmer can sleep easier at night. But I damn well know that dude ain't sleeping easy at night when he ain't got shit to show for that last 4 years. And now he up here watching SGA with the #1 seed and being probably a future MVP. No, you can't sleep with that shit.
Yeah, I guess when I look at it, from a 27 championship level in the sense of when the 2009 Yankees went and got all those players to share, AJ Burnett, CC Sabathia, they got all those players loaded up the roster. I expected a ring in 2009, a ring in 2011, a ring in 2013. That's what my expectations were. But to see them just kind of go straight down the shitter after the 2009 World Series, I think they got swept in the next year playoffs. that was like kind of like, damn. So I think like I believe you have to look at it differently for each franchise. For like a Lakers or a Celtics or a Yankees, you know, that notoriously in the franchise history you win, you have to kind of look at it a little different because they're not there to just win one, right? It's like, okay, now the Celtics are even planning like, okay, how do I win? Well, not really, because they're thinking about how they can sell the team. But I guess that's a bad example in this case. Because
but they will be once they sell the team.
No, but ultimately they still are. I mean, because some of
Yeah.
these people are still going to the front office. Some of the owners will still be the same. They'll be minority owners. I guess to ask that then, since you use that example, is the LeBron Lakers experiment a failure? Because right now he has one championship at the bubble, and other than that, they're basically a playing team every year. And that's Anthony Davis and LeBron.
Let's
I
not
think
forget
that's
that other
like
banner. Let's not forget that other banner they got to raise this year.
Well, that play-in term, that was a big day, but that was a big day for That's right up there with Kobe's.
How could it be a failure? Look at the banner they just raised.
Oh yeah, fucking
First one ever, baby. The inaugural. The first one.
And for like 2 weeks straight, you could not stop hearing the Kobe interview. We don't hang banners for conference titles or something like that.
Can we stop trading captains, please? I've seen Ryan Callahan get named captain, traded. Ryan McDonough, whose jersey I got, captain, traded. Now Jacob Trouba, captain, and apparently soon to be traded. Now, the talk is that he's going to the Detroit Red Wings, should he accept it. If not, Larry Brooks from the New York Post has reported that the Rangers will find a way to get rid of Jacob Trouba. So, another captain will be leaving the roster one way or another. So, here's my pitch. Name Chris Kreider captain like you should have before, because he's been the captain pretty much for the last, I want to say 5-6 years. And don't trade him. I am tired of seeing captains for the New York Rangers get traded. And frankly, I really don't want to get another jersey because I'm not sure they're going to stay on the team. So, New York Rangers, please keep this next one.
Right. What are we doing?
All right, guys, as we talk about worst, right, like worst contracts.
Worst.
Let's talk about the most disappointing super team. So, guys that have paired together said, we're going to win it all and disappointed you very much. So, Grandpa Jay, what you got?
Brooklyn Nets, man. I mean, the Nets are the jokers of the league with what happened.
Yeah.
And even twice.
Wait,
right?
Which Nets? I was going to say, you got multiple times. Which?
The Paul Pierce KG experiment, you can go that way. You can go with the most recent one where you couldn't get those three guys to even play together. What was their total game together? 10? 10 in 2 years? 18 in 2 years?
Yeah, 3 years.
I mean, how do you get any worse than that? Not only do you tease the fans with the possibility of this big three, but they never fucking played with each other in a significant game. So we didn't even get a shot to see whether it worked or not, which made it even more disappointing that these players went in there. And look, Katie was the only one that had an excuse because that was the nastiest injury a lot of us have seen in a while, right? With an NBA player. That was really nasty. So he's the only one that has an excuse. Aging player, needs that full year like Clay to come back. Obviously, he's come back a lot, I guess, more at full strength than Clay has. He definitely seems, especially what he did at the Olympics, he seems like he had a lot in him still. But I don't know recently when I've been trying to think about which one just of what was supposed to be a super team, the one that we never even got a chance to see if it worked. I can't think of any other examples. Bosch maybe, right? Because of what happened with him, but they won at least. But
they won.
God, that's like you said. Which time? How can you do it one time and then go ahead and say, "Hey, let's try this one more time and see if it works again"? You already got burnt. Why are you going after that same stupid deal again?
So I got one. I'm going to take it way back. I guess I'm going back into history just with my takes this year. Mine is the 1998 Atlanta Braves are the worst super team right now because, and a lot of people always say, how do you say that? You know, they did win a lot, but he didn't win the championship. It doesn't matter. They have 5 starting pitchers over 17 wins. All 5, 17 wins. Yeah. You don't see that today. You have 4 players with at least 31 home runs, 106 wins in the season, and a clean sweep of the Cubs in the division series. And then you ran into a buzzsaw, which was the Padres, who were riding a high wave coming in, and you were supposed to win the championship. You were supposed to compete against New York. It was already scripted. It was saying New York versus Atlanta in the World Series. And they didn't do it. Well, was that 98? Was that 98, right, Mike?
The 98.
Yeah, it's 98. They get, as Morgan Wallen said, they got beat by them damn Padres.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the
And then they go to the World Series the next year and get embarrassed.
Yep.
After going up 2-0, they lost the
Right.
Yankees in 6. So
Yeah, but you see, at least the team made a run to have a
Yeah.
shot to get to the World Series, and that team got to the World Series. So to me, it's like the experiment worked almost. We're on the brink of
But I
it
still
working.
consider that a failure, even if you get to the game. Even if you get to the dance and you don't get to dance with you're not. I don't find it successful. Hold on, guys.
The thing
Hold
is,
on. All right, go ahead, Mike. Start with you.
okay. See, but the thing is, to John's point, that 99 Braves team was not the same team that the 98 Braves team was. They didn't have that specifically, not that they still had really good pitching, not that successful of pitching where they just mowed through everybody during the regular season. That 98 Braves team should have at least gone 7 with the Yankees in the World Series, if not 1.
I mean, if you want to make it current day, last year's Braves team or the year before last year's Braves team, who was the hottest team in baseball, getting swept by the Phillies, I believe it was, was a huge disappointment. I mean, they were just mowing through teams all year. It was just like crazy. You had Acuna,
But they weren't a super team compared to '98. The question was which super team, right?
Yeah,
but I mean, they kind of were. They had Matt Olson at a $40 million contract. They had Acuna. They had what's the one guy?
Ozzy Albies?
No, the guy that wears the
Marcelo Ozuna.
Marcelo
how many
Ozuna.
Hall of Famers on that 98 Braves team?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm just looking right now. Yeah, I mean, that team was just winning at a high. I remember that year because I remember watching. Like, my dad was always just like, the Yankees aren't beating the Braves, and then when we got to the World Series and it wasn't the Braves, it's like,
right?
Who the fuck are you? You weren't supposed to be here.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be here. You don't even go here, San Diego.
So,
San
Diego.
Just Spanish for.
San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego. Saint Diego.
TreyDay, who you got?
I'm surprised. Well, I'm not gonna say it, but I'm surprised. I thought John was gonna pick the Vince Young, Nam Diaz, and all those guys. Eagles team that was supposed to be the super team. That's why I really thought John was gonna pick. So I was like,
no, because like in my head, I never thought that was a super team. Like when we signed the contracts, I was like, okay, cool, like we're getting those guys. But like in every Eagles season, because since 2004, when I was like, Eagles are winning Super Bowl, they got T.O., that was a dominant team. That had to be the most disappointing team that I've seen of mine. I'm like, how do you not win, right? That team was loaded. That team, ever since that 2004 one, I was like scarred. I was like, can't get too excited.
Yeah, you didn't set yourself up for that.
I'm not gonna get excited. I'm just gonna sit here. Right. We're just gonna see how this plays out. It played out very bad, but we met Nick Foles, so I guess that's
you didn't set yourself up for that L in that case. All right, look. So this is a very
resident of Dre Jacksonville, an avid golfer now.
pickleball champion.
I know. I'm trying to go play him.
you get crushed.
Yeah, right, bro. I'm fuck his ass up if I get a chance.
Hey, fuck him up.
I beat him. I hope I beat him too.
Lock of the week. I got Jay.
That's my boy. Thanks, Trey.
Hey, Nick comes in the clutch. We just need him towards the end of the match. So we got.
So this is a very important two-part. This is a two-part answer to this question. It's very important. You take y'all down a trip down memory lane real quick. So y'all remember Charles Barkley? Of course you remember Charles Barkley. Do you remember how Charles Barkley always would come out and say stuff like, well, I can't believe they formed super teams. Yeah, because you did the shit too, bro. Let's go back to the 96 to 99 Rockies. Back we were sitting there. Hakeem, Clyde Drexler, Charles Barkley. That shit fucking failed. Then they reinvented themselves again, and they said, okay, let's go Hakeem, Barkley, Scottie Pippen. That shit failed. And all these old legends want to talk about, these guys always want to get together. Y'all did the shit too. You basically put all these guys, all of y'all were considered top 100 players of all time in the NBA. I mean, you had guys like Mario Elliott and these type of guys on the bench. So what are you at slouches? You have Rudy Tom Johnson. You had a great coach. Oh, yes, I'm going to call them out. You know, I just want to call them out specifically because of how they lost. And this is why it's going to be a two-part here. The first year, they lose to fucking Karl Malone in the Western Conference Final. The second year, they lose to fucking Karl Malone in the first round. And the third year, they lose to Kobe and Shaq. I can respect that one. And then, this moves me to the next part of this question. I fucking hate Karl Malone. You know what happened? The Lakers still Carmelo, and we put together a fucking super team, as I thought it was. The 03-04 Lakers, we in Shaq and Kobe.
Thank you. That's the one for me.
Last leg, and then fucking Carmelo gets hurt. The one time I fucking root for Carmelo, this asshole can't stay on the fucking court, and then Kobe and Shaq break up and ruin the rest of my childhood. So yes, that is the answer to the most disappointing super team.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say that one, so that's why I didn't go there, because I'm like, Trey's definitely going with the Lakers team that got embarrassed by the Pistons with friggin' Peyton, Malone, Shaq, Kobe.
God damn.
Bro,
And then make it worse.
That's where you should have just walked off.
Peyton and Shaq get traded, go to Miami and get rings. Right after.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Mike.
Did you Carmelo too?
All right, Mike. Can you top that?
Yeah, Mike's going with the 1939 Ottawa Senators.
Ha! That's a trick, Jamie. The Ottawa Senators didn't exist in 1939. No, actually, I'm gonna actually bring it full circle. Let's bring it all the way back to the beginning, because the one I wrote down.
Goddamn Winnipeg.
Yeah, no, Winnipeg. Yeah, we're gonna go with the 1864 Cleveland Spiders. They had Big Dick John McGree. No, by the way, I say again, they should have gone back to the Cleveland Spiders instead of the Guardians, but that's beside the point. That's not the question. I'm going to bring it full circle back, because the one I wrote down that stood out most to me was the 2013-2014 Brooklyn Nets. You have an entire roster full of all-stars and Hall of Famers, and you sold your future for them for what it was essentially 1 year of attempted winning. Because let's remind the class, everybody, instead of that Paul Pierce, Jason Terry, Kevin Garnett blockbuster trade, they could have kept those picks. And you know who those picks would have given them today? NBA champions Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Yep.
So, does that mean that the 2023-24 NBA champions could have been the Brooklyn Nets? You're goddamn right it means it could have been that, because they would have had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on top of money to spend that they weren't paying Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Jason Terry, and the rest of those scrubs. Except for you, Joe Johnson. Respect to you. I appreciate your
and according to Melo, the best ISO player to ever play.
Joe Johnson? Oh, I do. Other than Melo himself, I don't doubt it. Oh, yeah, he's phenomenal.
But
listen,
Melo's the one that said it. He said, other than in the interview in his podcast, he said, other than you, who is the best ISO guy. So he pretty much already picked himself. So
Once again, no love for Pistol.
That was a terrible time for the Nets, because that was when Jay-Z took ownership.
It's always a terrible time for the Nets.
No, Jay-Z took ownership a little bit later, wasn't he? Didn't he take ownership in about
remember Jay-Z only had 2%. It was the Russian guy, Koparov. That's who was owning.
Oh, the one that begged and pleaded them to get Timofey Mozgov.
Yeah, because he wanted to get Mozgov. So remember, he wanted to get Mozgov. He went to spend money. Then after that, suddenly decided, oh shit, I don't want to spend his money. Then remember, he also had some type of a bet where if they didn't win within like the first year or two, he would get married. They ended up reneging on the bet, because he basically was like, I'll never get married, but if we can't win, then I'll go get married. And then everybody's like, hey bro, what's up? Where's the wife at?
I didn't know about that. The team. I didn't know about that Russian owner, because he's still pissed about 1980. That's why he took over. You know what? This is true. I'm going to take an American basketball franchise. That's what my goal is. Timothy
in New York. In New York.
So, well, Mike, let's take it over to you as I went to the baseball diamond. Let's take it to your baseball diamond on what's on your mind. Take it away.
Okay, so guys, I got a fun story for you. And it begins with the bagel story lives on. While a member of the New York Yankees, pitcher Alan Watson struggled to find consistency, but did manage, we actually talked about these teams, to pick up rings in 1999 and 2000 with that Yankee team that was a dynasty. But the most memorable moment of his Yankee career actually came in the clubhouse. Watson was messing around one day and having fun in the locker room, and it eventually led to him throwing a bagel at a clubhouse attendant. However, his fun quickly ended because the bagel missed the attendant. And who did it hit? Owner George Steinbrenner as he walked into the locker room. The imposing physically and emotionally to the players, Steinbrenner, demanded to know who threw the baked good. And Watson did bite the bullet and eventually admitted that it was him. Steinbrenner then looked at Watson and said, I figured it was you, Watson. That's why it didn't hurt. Watson was later named by former teammate Jason Grimsley as a user of performance-enhancing drugs, but I doubt that had anything to do with his poor bagel throwing ability.
Must
See,
be
I'm not a
like
bagel fan, but at the same time, it's great.
Bacon, egg, and cheese in New York you're throwing?
worst bagel flavor. What's the worst bagel flavor of all time other than plain?
Blueberry.
What?
Really?
Oh, fuck you.
I don't like blueberries, so what do you want?
So you can't say that.
Okay,
You can't even say that. You didn't.
Well, I just said I don't like bagels.
But how can you choose
Yeah, I'm not a
blueberry?
bagel person.
But how do you choose blueberries out of all the fruits? Like,
Yeah.
they got oatmeal raisin. They got.
I've never been a big
Brand.
onion bagel guy. I don't like the onion bagels.
That's bad.
You don't like what it does to you.
I eat onion all the time. I just don't like the onion bagels. I never liked them for some reason.
So, Mike, if you know this, like, if he comes home with an onion bagel, you just go to a Holiday Inn or something.
Just know it's an imposter. I'm a vampire posing as a human.
Yeah, I don't like all the funky like tasting. It's like they had like a
What about the
chocolate-
rainbow bagels?
What does it taste like?
I think it's
Like
just a normal bagel.
A
It's
bunch
just
of dye in the dough.
It just looks fun.
I guess.
it's like tie dyeing a T-shirt.
Make little kids eat more freaking red and yellow freaking dye so they go crazy.
Exactly.
Well,
See it every day.
I love the classic bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel on a nice multi-grain. I'm good with that. I'm like I'm still lost on how you don't like bagels. It's just bagels.
And there's
I
nothing
mean, no,
like
I'm with you. I don't-
bagel because the water is perfect in New York, so you have the
No one
best
heard
bagel.
that. No one heard that. God damn it!
What'd you say?
I said it bagels my mind instead of boggles.
Ha! I see what you did there.
Ah.
Knee
This is
slapper.
really not selling the point on bagels. See, I'm not liking bagels.
You've never had one either?
No, I didn't say I never had one. I said I had a
okay.
bagel. I've probably had a bagel
That-
in like 25 years. It's all doughy and shit. I watch my calories.
And every bagel I've ever had has been dry, whether it was toasted or not. No matter
Oh,
what
boy.
I put on it.
You ain't going to the right bagel shop.
Yeah, you're
I
not
mean,
going to the right
I
bagel shop
swear,
at
I didn't
all.
think it was that different, but when I was in New York and I tried it, I was like, damn, there's
You
something
know, get it
different
from
about
Bodega,
it.
You know-
and it's so good.
I was gonna say I've never actually had like a New York City bagel, so perhaps the next time that I am in the city, I will have to try their bagels.
Do it. And farewell to the U.S. men's national soccer team as they go crashing out of the Copa America tournament in the group stages. And what a terrible showing for the men's team. I mean, they definitely didn't justify their ranking as a top 10 team right now by FIFA. And a lot of people are turning to Greg Berhalter and saying, oh, it's the manager's fault. He can't really do great with this group of players he has. There's a lot of great young talent. No, there's not. Yeah, Pulisic is a great player, but after that, it's a lot of mediocre play. And he really doesn't have enough support around him for them to really play the style of football at least the average fan like me wants to see out of a young upcoming team. So they have a lot of soul searching to do because the World Cup's 2 years around the corner, and oh yeah, you're the bigger of the tri-hosts that will be hosting the tournament. And you better show up for your fans, even though it's probably going to be a ton of people flying in from the other countries taking over the stadiums. There's still going to be a lot of love for America by Americans throughout the World Cup. And you guys have to do something about your style of play before that. So at least it's semi-entertaining whether you go crashing out of the first round or not. Now, it's not just the manager that's the issue. America has a lot to do in terms of making this game more popular at the grassroots level, because right now it's like country club access, very expensive sport, and you're not going to build a great team around only that small pool of people to choose from. So for the sake of the future of soccer in this country, which, by the way, you might hear Mike's mind bring up an interesting fact about soccer in the future, let's do something about that style of play at least. Go ahead and hire my guy, Jurgen Klopp, because at least we know if you lose, you're going to lose looking good.
We keep it rolling here. Mike drops with his knowledge. Talking about sports families. Who is the greatest sports family in sports? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Of course you will. I wonder who he's going to choose.
Nope, you are completely
I
wrong.
wonder who I'm going to choose.
You are completely wrong.
Now, listen. Can I at least just say it first?
Go on.
No.
Please.
No.
Go on.
Okay, go ahead.
Archie, Cooper, Peyton, Eli. It's the Mannings. Of course, it's the Mannings.
And back to the show.
Cooper who? Cooper Cup? Cooper Rush? He
I
can
got-
say Cooper.
Now
Did you just say Cooper? He didn't even play a snap in the NFL.
what sports? You mean Archie, his son?
Well, we'll get to that eventually. Yeah, I mean, Arch
Okay,
Manning
I mean-
counts too. Yes, Cooper produced potentially one of the next great quarterbacks.
But he
in the
never
NFL.
played in the NFL. He never played in college.
He played in. He was at college. He never
He
ended
never,
up.
he
being
never
able-
played at Ole Miss.
He practiced with them, but then they told him he couldn't play, which isn't Cooper's fault. You're gonna blame Cooper for something for a medical condition that keeps him off the field, and
I'm
it
not
doesn't
blaming
matter.
It's
him,
all
but
academic
I'm saying,
condition. It's just
but we're not
so-
blaming him. We're just saying that he never played. He never played a snap at Ole Miss or the
I was
NFL. So like,
I was just listing the members of the family, and not all of who makes them
Why didn't you
successful.
name the
Alright.
mama?
Hold on. I'm pretty sure that Archie Sr., Peyton, and Eli make up for the fact that Cooper never played in the NFL.
I guess.
I mean,
All right. So
Three-time
what's your reason behind that? Go ahead.
well, I mean, 3-time Super Bowl champions coming from Peyton and Eli, or I'm sorry, 4-time Super Bowl champions for Peyton and Eli. Led their team Super Bowl. I believe they have 3 Super Bowl MVPs between them. Archie Manning is possibly, prior to Drew Brees, was the best quarterback in Saints franchise history.
Well, that's not hard.
I'm pretty sure they're all Hall of Famers.
No, not
At least
Archie.
some.
No, not Archie.
Archie's not.
Isn't he a college football?
Well,
Hall of Fame?
Eli's
Yeah,
not.
he's college football. He's not a NFL.
He will be.
Eli's not.
No,
in
who,
the Hall of
Archie?
Fame.
Oh, okay.
No, Eli.
Oh, okay.
Eli
I
will
was
get
gonna
in.
say, what? Oh, okay. Ooh, I was gonna say not Archie.
Archie's not in yet, and neither is
Archie's
Eli
never
yet.
gonna be in.
So you got one Hall of Famer.
Okay, Eli's gonna get in. Archie's a college football Hall of Famer. Name a more iconic QB family. Name a more iconic football family.
Tom Brady.
I got 2. I got 2. I don't know
Can't
which
be a
way
family
you
by
want me to go
himself.
about
What?
it. I said I got 2. I don't know which way Mike wants me to go. He said name my iconic one. I got 2. If we're going
Okay,
NFL
go ahead.
specific. Okay, so let's go with this. We got the Matthews family. They have generations of depth. 7 different people played in NFL. I said played in NFL, not played in college. They have 25 Pro Bowls, 11 first-team All-Pros, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl, and they got guys that play defense and dudes that play offense. That is an amazing family. How can we not say this? We have Clay Matthews out here with the hair and all these type of things. Jamie would appreciate that. That family is just, that is, they call them, their nickname is literally the first family of football. So, the Matthews family is definitely more iconic because they're more versatile with more depth. But if we want to go to off the board, we can look at the Bosa family. The Bosa families has 7 different people in the NFL. Their grandfather on the mom's side went. Their grandfather on the mom's side played. His brother, which makes them their uncle, he played for the Bears. The grandfather played for the Colts. The uncle on the mom's side went to Ohio State, was a first-round draft pick. Their dad went to Boston College, was a first-round draft pick at 16 to the Dolphins. And you got those 2 themselves, Joey and Nick. Joey being Defensive Player of the Year. So, we got definitely more iconic. We got more depth here with some of these people as far as actually making to the pros, not having 64 quarterback ratings. Archie.
They still talk. I mean, I'm just saying the Mannings get talked about more. Granted, they're quarterbacks, but the most.
Well, they're quarterbacks. Of course, they get talked about more.
Well, yeah, okay. The most prominent
right.
family and the most talked about in the most prominent position.
John, do you want to
Talked about
jump
doesn't make
in
it
here and
great.
choose one?
So Tim Tebow
Bosa's?
talked about all year, but that doesn't make him
Matthews?
I mean, I knew about the Matthews. So the Matthews, I didn't know about the Bosas until just
Yeah,
now.
I didn't know that.
But the Matthews, I always said, in my opinion, I thought the Matthews was the
we load them out.
powerhouse football family. I mean, now they have no one in the NFL, unless I'm mistakenly wrong. But
Don't worry, the kids are coming soon.
yeah, so
all
I
their
mean,
children now.
they were the most dominant football family in my opinion because they were just all pros. Like I mean, Casey was kind of expected. I was happy when we got him from Oregon, but god damn it,
Yeah, he still played.
not really.
But he still made it to the NFL. I mean, at the end of the day, it still
He
does
was third
count.
string.
You get 7, but you get 7 guys to
I was
the NFL.
pissed.
It's a hard thing.
Yeah, that's true. That actually, the funny part is bringing up Casey is that he was the one that got drafted around that 2013, 2014, like Osama, Vince Young. We were like, oh shit, we're getting it. So
Exactly.
I was like, damn. So I'm gonna take mine to like just a family in baseball, and that it was tough. It was tough to pick who, right? But I had to go with the Bonzes. I mean, Barry and Bobby Bonds were just unreal as a duo in there. I mean, Bobby only won with 3 Gold Gloves and made 3 All-Stars, but between both of them, I mean, most of this is going to be Barry. 17-time All-Star, 7-time MVP, 11-time Gold Glove, and 12-time Silver Slugger. Bobby, I mean, like I said, Barry was carrying that most, but I mean, those two were like, when they were playing on the Giants together, it was unreal. Like, it was like father-son. It was like the Griffeys. It was like the second coming of the Griffeys at that point. It was great to see that like camaraderie, and I love seeing that. But if I'm going to say the greatest family in sports, it has to be the Suter family in the NHL. The Suter family has Brent, Brandon, Brian, Brett, Brody, Daryl, Dwayne, Lucas, Rich, and Ron. All played in the NHL. 6-time Stanley's champion.
Oh, yeah.
So,
forgot about the Suters.
40 years of the Suter name being in the NHL in hockey. So, I mean, none of them made really all-stars, but they have 6 Stanley Cups out of the family. So, I mean, that's got to be like the best family.
No, depth has to count for something.
Oh, no. I 100%. I had forgotten about the Sutter family. They're nuts.
Yeah. So, Grandpa Jay, which across the pond name is the best?
I'm not going across the pond. There were definitely candidates across the pond in different sports, but my candidates are known by one name, and that is Venus and Serena, because we'll never see anything like it. And it's even more to do with the story of what Richard decided after he went to a tournament in the late 70s, saw a Romanian tennis player get a $20,000 check, and in his brain he went, what? They got paid $20,000 for winning a tennis tournament? To which he went home and wrote a 78-page manifesto, not even knowing how to play the game of tennis, where he would even begin that journey. And here's the better part. His daughters weren't even born yet. But yet he wrote a 78-page manifesto on how he's going to create the 2 best female tennis players of all time. Talk about this guy was... Call me now, Richard. Richard is... call me now for your free reading.
Miss Cleo.
All right? Here's how impressive the Williams sisters were. And when I say nobody will come close to this, and what it caps off with is why nobody will come close. 30 Grand Slam titles between the two. 23 for Serena, 7 for Venus. 14 as doubles partners. And they still went on to win more doubles championships. But let's just say together. So together with their powers combined, as Williams says, 44 Grand Slam titles. And to top it off, 4 gold medals. 4 Venus Williams, 3 for Serena. They won together in 2008, doubles and singles. Venus won the gold in 2000, and she won another gold in 2012. And they won a silver medal as well in doubles in one of those years. So I cannot think of a more decorated family than the Williams sisters when it comes to not only owning their sport, but they transcended the sport of tennis, because tennis went from white people, country club, not allowed, to, hey, the game is wide open. Who wants to play? And we saw all sorts of faces, colors, creeds, types, shapes, no matter what. All of a sudden, everybody wanted to play tennis. And all of a sudden, everybody wanted to watch women's tennis. So not only were they most significant for the game in itself, but I think they were part of this women's movement here, along with obviously the U.S. women's national soccer team, that really catapulted women to where they are right now in this day and age where I sat down and watched Indiana play last night, and it was a great game up until the Aces took over in the 4th. But the Williams sisters and the Williams family, greatest sports family, at least to me, because it's unprecedented what they did, and it'll never be matched again.
At first, I thought you said the Wayne sisters. I was like,
Williams.
They got brothers, and they got a family of
brothers. They got like 18 of them. They have to have some sisters.
They do have.
They do have a lot of people in that family, but
I think it's 16 kids.
Yeah, it's a lot.
At least
they do have sisters do comedy too.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Jeez.
Yeah,
When
Kim
you
was on
look
the
at,
Brothers show.
I remember my first time ever going to like try to play tennis. It was like at this like dumpy park next to my house, like down the street. I remember my buddy who was like a tennis player. He hit it up, and I was just like in baseball mode. I was whack, and I like launched the ball out of the freaking tennis court, and I was like, well, I don't think this sport's for me.
Nope.
I freaking launched that shit. I was like, oh, okay. And that's the longest hit I've ever had in my baseball career. So
There you go.
But yes, I mean, I could see the Venus and Serena are definitely, they were dominant. I mean, that movie was really cool about their life and how he really did manifest this whole thing and how it played out. So, but he also put the work in too. He didn't just sit back and not let it happen. He put the work.
Or he got his teeth knocked out because he was playing in parks that was gang territory, and they were like, "Get the hell out of here with your daughters. We'll shoot them next time." And he was like, "Look, y'all can tell me what you want, but these damn girls are gonna play tennis because they're gonna be the greatest ever." And then all of a sudden, they realized this man is serious, and we got to respect it. So then they became his bodyguards pretty much afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible how I mean, if you haven't seen that movie out there, make sure you guys go watch that because it's a really powerful movie, and it's a good watch, especially on a long weekend.
Sports is a business, and of course, players are on the move. People say, and nobody's loyal anymore. Sports ain't the way it used to be. Paul George wanted to stay, but the Clippers, they really weren't pressed to keep him. They went out, they gave Harden a new contract. They made sure Kawhi got paid, even though his ass is always hurt. Then you go out to Golden State, you look at Clay. If I was him, you damn right I'd be pissed. Jordan Poole got fucking paid. I mean, I know they ended up trading him, but that dude got paid. And then you go out there and pay Draymond after he's out here punching motherfuckers in the nuts and shit like that. Yeah, I'd be pissed if I was Clay. Now, on the other hand, I see why the teams didn't pay him. If I were in their position, no, I wouldn't want to pay a 38-year-old Paul George. So I get what they're talking about. And if I was the Warriors, yeah, Clay isn't what he used to be. So I don't know if I would have wanted to pay that either. But like I said, this is a business. Most of the legends, they don't even finish for one team. Brady, Manning, Shaq, Wilt, Willie Mays, Randy Johnson. It doesn't work that way. Your legends do move. This is how these things operate. Every once in a blue moon, you do get a Steph who may get to stay his whole career. You do get a Jeter. You get a Kobe. These are rare situations, and that's why you value those situations. Because most of these stars are going to move because this is a business. But fans want to sit here and they get mad and say, oh, I can't believe this shit. But as soon as a player fucks up, everybody's like, trade that dude. So it goes both ways here. You want to trade him in one case, you want to be loyal in the other case. Like I said, again, this is a business. How many of y'all out here, I would say in America, have worked for the same company for 20 years? Most of y'all don't. So why do you expect these athletes to stay with the same place for 20 years? That ain't how this operates because that's what people do. You look for better opportunities. If you don't feel appreciated, you move on. If you think you can make more money, you move on. It's survival of the fittest. At the end of the day, sports is big business. Believe that.
But as we get on to our championship, let's get to it, fellas, because we got 7 episodes left to king me, the champion of Stump the Squad. So let's get to it. It's time for Stump the Squad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You guys and ghouls know what time it is. It is Stump the Squad time. It's our favorite time of the show where we ask each other trivia. You guys can play along. Don't use your phones or cheat. Because what's the point of playing if you're going to cheat? If you get the answer right, give yourself +2. If you get it wrong, and
you ain't trying.
-2. And if you cheat, then I don't want to hear you no more. So, moving right along here, Grandpa Jay needs a win. So I'm going to let John ask me the first question because I have a good feeling about John's question tonight.
All right. Which player in the NBA has played for the most teams ever in the history of the NBA? Is it Tony Massenberg, Jim Jackson, Joe Smith, or Jeff Green?
The correct answer is Joe Smith.
Jamie, Joe Smith.
I have a split here.
You think it's Jeff
He
Green?
said that with a lot of confidence.
Jim Jackson.
Trey said Jim Jackson.
Yeah, I'll go with my gut and go Jim Jackson.
I'm a split between Jim.
Well, fellas, I have successfully stumped you all. It is none of those guys. It is Tony Massenberg with 13 teams he played for. And
did Joe Smith not play for? He played for 12. I thought he played for 13.
He played for 12. Jim Jackson played for 12, and Tony Massenberg played for 13 teams. Yep. So, all right, fellas, let's get on to it. Grandpa Jay, since you wanted to pick me, I'm going to pick you.
All right, well, I'm going across the pond here. It is Wimbledon time, and my guy, Novak Djokovic, just did something that nobody's ever done before, and that is consecutive times winning the first round of Wimbledon. Can you tell me how many first round matches Novak Djokovic has now won in a row in his Wimbledon career? Is it 18, 19, 20, or 21?
19.
21.
21.
And just to make sure, Mikey, 21 for you as well?
21 for me as well.
I have successfully stumped Mike and Trey. It is 19. He's now 19-0. He just passed Chris Everett. Even the great Steffi Graf lost the first round match. So congrats to Mr. Novak Djokovic on setting yet another tennis record. And Mikey, you could take it away.
Okay. All right. Who is the only undrafted player to ever make the NBA Hall of Fame?
Bobby Boucher.
NBA.
Not NFL.
Yeah, Bobby the
Is it-
ball.
Is it A, Ben Wallace, B, Bob Dandridge, C, Vlade Divac, or D, Zach Clayton?
What's the question?
The only undrafted player to ever make the NBA Hall of Fame.
Ben Wallace.
Yeah, I was going Wallace.
That's what I was thinking at first. But what was the other two answers?
So
Oh,
the
Vlade
other ones
Divac.
are Ben, not instead of Vlade Divac, it's Bob Dandridge or Zach Clayton.
Never heard of those two. I'm going to go Ben Wallace.
This week I have successfully stumped nobody. It is Ben Wallace.
Benjamin.
Those are all Hall of Famers.
I knew Vladdy got drafted.
I knew Valley got drafted. I knew
Yeah.
Dandridge got drafted. I was pretty confident that Ben Wallace didn't get drafted out of Virginia Union.
I just remember reading an article about a year and a half ago about it, that he, despite his offensive numbers being abysmal, the guy was just a beast on the freaking boards.
I mean, yeah.
Well, fellas, as we get into the finals question, Mike is eliminated.
Yep.
Trey is eliminated. And it's down to Grandpa Jay and myself. I have to get it wrong, and Grandpa Jay has to get it right.
Come on, TreyDay. Let me get a little payday.
Okay, so let's see. The Warriors have spent the most money in total on their roster in the past 20 years. What I'm going to do is I'm going to name 4 teams. Of these 4 teams who have not won an NBA championship or have not won an NBA title over the last 20 years, which of them has spent the most total money on their roster? That follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So which team other than the Warriors have spent
The Warriors aren't in this. I was doing it as a side note.
Oh.
Naming 4 teams here. None of them have won the NBA championship in the last 20 years. Which of these 4 teams have spent the most money on their roster total within the last 20 years?
Brooklyn
We got
Nets.
the Rockets, the Clippers, the Knicks, or the Nets.
Oh, I want to say the Nets. So bad. But it's so hard when you throw the Clippers in there. The Rockets, Clippers.
Rockets,
Knicks.
Clippers, Knicks, or Nets.
In the last 20 years. I'm going to go. Fuck, that's tough. There's like, those 3 teams are just like very hard. Ah, fuck.
Put my damn time watch on. Need some decisions here.
I'm going to go with the Clippers.
John's
I'm gonna say the Rockets.
and Jamie is going Rockets.
That's what I think the answer
Mike,
is.
for
too.
fun, since you're here.
For funsies, I actually think it's the Knicks.
Okay, so today I have successfully stumped John and Jamie.
Damn it.
Mike is right. It is.
If only I was in it.
Damn
Only
it.
you win it.
Because because I remember, first of all, that's a diversion thing, because you'd think it's either the Rockets, the
Yeah,
Clippers.
but I mean, I thought about it and
They
I went to my head and I'm like, who the fuck have they paid in the last 20 years?
Well, they paid
Melo,
Melo.
Amari.
No, you got to remember Melo, but remember, and this is I don't know which one y'all edited that
Yeah,
video.
other than Melo naming a superstar they paid him.
And Allen Houston. Remember Allen Houston rule? That's
Oh,
why they
yeah.
had him.
But I thought that Allen Houston contract kicked in the late 90s. I didn't know it kicked in after 2004.
They were still paying on it for part of that. But you gotta remember they were doing stupid shit like Eddie Curry. They were doing a lot of
And the
stupid.
Steph Marbury contract too, right? Yeah, that's Steph Marbury.
Got paid more than
Yeah.
like
Latrell Sprewell, I'm pretty sure they paid.
Sprewell was also in
No,
that.
Sprewell was post that. Sprewell was like late 90s to early 2000s.
Yeah, in the last
Yeah,
20 years, they're still paying out on it.
They were still paying out on some of that with him, Larry
Amari.
Johnson. Remember they had that late 90s.
Amari,
There was a lot of just stupid ass shit that they did.
A lot of failed experiments, yeah.
A lot of failed experiments. Remember Isaiah Thomas? Fuck them.
Good job, John.
I am the champion. Like
Congratulations.
I said, when we crown me the champion here in 7 weeks.
Yep.
So now the score goes: TreyDay with 7, me with 4, Grandpa J and Mike with 3, and we got 7 episodes left until we crown the second Stump the Squad champion. So make sure you guys tune in. Fellas, great show. Awesome time. What do you guys got planned for the long weekend?
Footy, baby. Lot of footy. Watch the footy.
Well, I was waiting for y'all to shut the fuck up so I can go outside and cook now. I'm about to go outside and make get on this damn grill.
Well, you know our conversations have to go at least an hour or 2.
Well, I know. And Mike wants to talk to me about goddamn Archie Manning.
For goddamn sake. And Cooper Manning, who's a real estate agent. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, he did some stuff.
Mike, what are you doing this? Anything fun?
Depends on what you define as fun. I'm moving, so I'm moving out and gotta get a bunch of heavy shit out of the apartment, and gotta clean up on Sunday. And after that, we begin the official countdown. Mike's out of his current apartment countdown to the great drive to Florida to room with one of the people on this call. Who could it be?
Yeah, gotta come on down to the swamp and then take a little time and then a terrible to my head.
That wasn't even English.
Well, everyone, I hope everyone has a safe and great holiday. We're going to be back here next week for episode 119. Make sure you guys tune into our socials at Cinco Squad Pod 05 on all socials. Interact with us, comment. We'll comment back. We're not afraid to duke it up with you. So make sure you guys tune in next week. See you guys next week. Cinco Squad out.
Safe, happy 4th. Take those hands off the damn fireworks.